Hello, and welcome back to another storytime video. It's been so long, guys. I'm trying to get back into the flow of things, and you might hear me cough a little bit here and there just because I haven't been feeling the best the last couple days. But regardless of that, I'm back. And I'll be doing some more videos, hopefully a little more frequently. We're looking at trying to do some Pokemon Mondays, and then, every other Friday, throwing out a little story time video, because I got a lot to talk about now. I've spent I spent like a whole year kind of off, popping in with streams every now and again, but I have so many stories, because what I started doing during some of this more free time that I had was I started going to conventions. And that's going to be a big point for this story right here. So, this is going to be about my most recent convention at the time of recording. So, this would be, somewhere in January 2023 that we're talking about. There, we had some fun. But, going a little bit back, first convention that I really ever got to go to was Anime Matsuri 2021. And that was a whole little blast for the day that I went. And I went by myself. I had some friends there, and I found them eventually. Got to know some people, but from there, I really started jumping into it. Like, after Anime Matsuri 2021, we started going to all sorts of different places. Say, Japan, Anime Matsuri 2022, Anime Verse Fest, like, all the way to this one point where we went to Ikkicon recently. So, where do I start with this story? So, Ikkicon took place in Round Rock, Texas, which is just outside of Austin. And it was taking place at this resort called the Kalahari. Just for backstory, that way you understand that a lot of people were staying at the resort itself, including myself and my friends. So we were having a good time and everything. The main story is going to take place on the Saturday of the event. But, just for a little backstory, we got there Friday afternoon, probably about 4 o'clock. We got all set up in our rooms, jumped in the cosplay, ran around, checked things out. Had a good time the first night, checked out their little yokai night stuff, and then, ate dinner, went back to the room, and got set up for the next day. Saturday, we come down in our outfits, and we're having a good time. We make it down to the convention floor, and a guy comes running across the floor that we'd seen the night before, yelling at some people, because he was apparently part of the staff. And he immediately goes up to my friend and says, "You can't bring that in here." And he's referring to his, lightsaber scythe that he has, where the majority of the pole is made out of metal. He's like, "Our rules are no metal. Our rules are no metal. Like, you can't bring metal in here." And he looks at me, and I'm dressed in a Tengen cosplay with my swords pushed through my backpack and everything. He's like, "You got to check those too. Lucky for you, I have one of the checking things." And he looks at my swords and flicks them real quick. He's like, "Those have to be wood. You're good." And ties the fucking thing on there, all rude like. And so we have to send a friend back up to the room to go drop off the metal scythe. Wait there, and now we're wasting time out of our day, just waiting because this one dude, couldn't let a little fucking thing that this guy, my friend, was not going to touch anyone with. He's like, "You never know, you could accidentally whack someone with it and it could cause injury, blah, blah." It's like, he's holding on to the end that's made out of metal. It's not going anywhere. It's like, I'd be more worried about the plastic end that's going to poke someone, but even then, people are watching out for each other because everyone's carrying around some sort of prop. Everyone's in cosplay. Anyways, we go through most of the day. We're having a good time. We're jumping back and forth from events. We do this cosplay chess thing where we're in cosplay, but we're the chess pieces and stuff like that. We go around the exhibit hall floor a couple times. We go around the resort. We get some food. We have some fun. Eventually, my friend goes back to the room, and I go back up there for a little bit with him until we get told that one of our other friends is on the way. And when they get there, we go down, meet up with her, and end up, walking around with them for a bit. I get separated from them in the exhibit hall, especially since I'd already been down there a couple times. I didn't really care to see the same shops I'd seen, the day prior and that whole day. So I end up going back to the room and chilling. And all's pretty good. I'm just chilling up there with my friend who's, he's tired, but he's been up in the room more than I have. So we chill. Eventually our other friend leaves, and my friend's sister comes back up to the room and is like, hey, what are we doing for the rest of the night? And we're like, well, it's 6, 7 p.m. We should probably get some food. So we order some food to the room and get some Chinese food. And my friend's like, we need some drinks because we need to have some fun. And so he orders, for context, think of like these smaller milk jugs that you might see at the grocery store. The ones that are like still made out of the plastic, but like a pint, maybe more than a pint of milk. 2 pints, something like that. It's half gallon. I don't know what they're called, but imagine one of those, and he gets 2 of these that are one that's filled with a strawberry daiquiri and one that's filled with a margarita. He doesn't tell us until later on that he, got an extra shot of tequila in the daiquiri one. So the daiquiri one only tastes like tequila. It doesn't taste like, any strawberry or anything. So we're just kind of like, it's not really our thing. It's like really strong and there's no flavor to it except for alcohol. We're not really vibing with it. The margarita, though, we each kind of have like half a cup of, and we're feeling good. So just kind of chilling there. We're trying to convince my friend to go down. He's like, no, dude, I gotta go to the restroom and I'm gonna chill up here for a little bit, and then I'll come meet y'all. So me and his sister go down there. We're chilling. We're checking everything out. We notice like there's a lot of people chilling by these big fire pits that the resort has outside. The convention is slowly coming to a close right now at this point. They have what was supposed to be a rave, according to what I understood. But last minute they changed it to a formal dance, which means you could go and cosplay and everything, but it's more of a dance, and so it's not going to be as wild as people were expecting. So a good majority of the wild people are over here hanging out by this fire, having a good time, drinking and whatnot. We see this, we're minding our own business, and I had taken my Darth Maul replica lightsaber with me, and I was just swinging around, showing off a little bit for some people here and there, trying out a couple tricks. Well, we go back up to the room, and we tell my friend, like, dude, come on, please come with us. And he's like, no, I'm going to chill up here, whatnot. And as we're just chilling up there, his sister looks out the window and goes, hey, look, there's 2 guys dueling with lightsabers. And I'm like, oh, real shit? Fuck it, give me something to do. I'm going to run down there. We're on the 9th floor. I'm going to jump in the elevator, run down there as quick as possible, and go fight these dudes. So I get down there, get all the way back out there, and this is right next to these fire pits, right? Where everyone's hanging out. And as I pull up, this dude, immediately, as he's finishing up with the other guy, turns around to me and goes, can I duel you? And I was like, yeah, sure, fuck it. So we start going at it, and I have a video somewhere of me and him fighting it out. Dude was clearly drunk and stumbling over himself quite a bit, so it looked more like I knew what I was doing, but he was getting more hits in because, he's clearly going for the hits. And I was concerned because he was drunk, and I wasn't, and so I was trying not to hit him too hard while he was whacking the shit out of me. So, fun, right? Well, when we get done, the guy turns to me and he's like, yo, man, dude, that was pretty cool. Do you want a Jello shot? And I was like, sure, I'm having fun. We're at the, resort that we're staying at. What's the harm? So he runs off to go grab me a Jello shot. As he's doing this, 2 little kids walk up to me and they're like, sir, I want to do what you do. And the other kid's like, I've won like 200 sword duels. I'm really good at it. And I'm like, awesome, cool. And the other little kid turns back to me and goes, sir, what's your name? And at that moment I was like, shit. Do I tell this little kid my actual name, or do I tell him a fake name? Because at the end of the day, he's not going to remember either one, but like, I don't feel comfortable just giving out my real name to these random strangers here. So I opt out for telling him that my name is Ace. And he's like, Ace, your tricks were really cool and stuff. And then like, as he finishes up and everything, the other guy comes running back up to me and he's got 2 Jello shots in hand. And so the kids kind of take off and he looks at me, he's like, yeah, man, I didn't know what you wanted, so I brought both of them over here. And then he starts pointing it out to me. He's like, this one right here with the marking on the lid, it has THC in it. And this one right here is a regular Jello shot. And I look at it, I'm like, THC, what the fuck are you doing? And I'm like, I'll take the regular one, man, because I was really not trying to get too crazy. And so I take the regular Jello shot from him, try it. It's a regular Jello shot. Doesn't hit me at all. I'd go about my time doing a few more tricks, walking around the convention floor with my friend's sister some more. And she was taking videos of me doing the lightsaber tricks as well. And then her and I make my way back up to our room, and we get back up there and my friend's just chilling and everything. And one thing I forgot to kind of mention was down here by this fire, there's this guy that we'd seen at multiple conventions beforehand that was dressed up like Jesus. Well, my friend took a picture with him at Anime Matsuri 2022 and was like crazy obsessed with him. Like fucking loved the dude's cosplay. The dude was really cool. There's a whole story to that as well that I'll have to tell on a different time, right? Well, we we decide that we're going to go ahead and go back up. We come in there. He's chilling. We tell him, like, dude, come on, just please come down there. I'm like, dude, I fought the guys. He's like, yeah, I watched you through the window. It's like, one of them gave me a Jello shot. And he's like, you just accepted a Jello shot from a random stranger? I was like, dude, it's fine. Because, like, he told me one of the types had THC, the other one had regular. I grabbed the regular one. I'm feeling fine. At this point, it's been 30 minutes since I took it. So it's like, I'm sure I would have noticed something, right? I was fine. Nothing related back to that ever came up, right? But we tell him, dude, Jesus was down there by the fire. And he goes, Jesus out in the fire? And fucking jumps up, throws on it. He didn't have a shirt on at the time because he was laying in bed. Threw on a shirt, threw on his shoes, and like, let's go. And so we fucking go down there. And as we get down to the lobby is technically on the second floor. So imagine, we have to walk through the lobby to go to this grand staircase that leads down and out to the outside where these fire pits are. And as we walk up to the staircase, we see Jesus all the way at the bottom talking to some people. So we go to the dude dressed up as Jesus. My friend gets a picture with him, and Jesus is fucked up. He's gone, like beyond belief, like clearly doesn't know that he's taking this picture with my friend. And that comes in a little bit later as well. So we get the picture, we go outside, now we have my friend down there with us, and we're just hanging out. Both the fire pits were occupied, but one of them, everyone there leaves. So there's an open fire pit. Me, my friend, and his sister, we all go to the fire pit. I kick up my feet next to it, and we just hang out. We stay warm next to this fire for a bit. And at some point, we had a giant group of people that sat to my left. And it was a pretty big group of people. And on my right were these three girls that were sitting kind of off to the side. Because if I were to explain it a little bit better and try and paint a picture, the fire pit was a rectangle. I was sitting at one corner of it with my feet propped up, and it had a pretty large stone outlining so that it was well away from the fire, so you could sit on the stone outlining or stand on it or place your drinks on it, whatever you needed to do. And so since I'm at that corner, on my left, which is a longer strip, had the majority of this giant group. On my right, which is the other side of it, which is a shorter side, were these three girls. And then my friends were on either side of me during the whole time. So as we're sitting there, we're listening on some of the conversations. Eventually these girls spark up a conversation with me and my friends. And so we start just casually talking. During this time, we get approached by a dude who calls himself Kiwi. And Kiwi is very fucking drunk. He is gone beyond belief. He is out of there. And he comes up about 5 times throughout the night and introduces himself. And then his friends have to chase him away. But at one point, one of his friends stays to have a conversation with us and introduces himself, and we're going to call him B for purposes. Well, B, he decides that he's going to talk with us for a bit, and as he does, he's like, yeah, dude, I totally wingman my friend over there, but he's gone, so like he's not getting any tonight, blah, 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 blah. But I'm an awesome wingman, so if you need a wingman, just let me fucking know. And my friend immediately, without hesitation, points to me as he's standing up next to me and goes, he needs a wingman. And I was like, no, I don't. And the fucking B looks over at me, he's like, dude, what's your name? And I was like, you want my real name or my fake name? He's like, give me your fake name. I was like, Ace. He's like, all right. And he flips over and turns over to these three girls that we were talking to, just casually, having a good conversation. And he's like, have you met my friend Ace? And they just kind of scoff at him. Like, like, what the fuck, dude? Not even 10 seconds later, they all get up and leave. So he's fucking blew that. Some wingman he was, right? Speed it up a little bit. Another group fucking across from the fire from us decides to set up, and as they do, this one chick, she gets up onto the fire pit. Like I was saying, it has a very wide stone, or not stone, but base around it that you can stand on, sit on, put your drinks on, right? So he's doing that, or she jumps onto it as soon as she walks up to it. Like, I mean, she walked from the other fire to this fire pit and immediately stands on it, walks directly towards me, and then steps off onto a chair that's right next to us. And we were just told by these three other girls that the night before someone had broken that chair, and so it was a little wobbly. So we were like, hey, you might not want to stand on that. Like, we were just told it broke the night before. And she's like, oh yeah, I feel it's wobbly. She's in fucking high heels while she's on this shit. So she gets off and starts walking back the way she came. And to describe her, she has a crop top on and then a skirt. And it's like, 45 degrees outside. It's kind of cold. And so she jumps off of this fire pit to get back onto the ground rather than just stepping off of it, because she's clearly drunk too, and her skirt flies up. And immediately, it was the funniest thing ever. Everyone on our side of the fire that saw it flipped their heads to the right just to ignore it until she fixed herself. It was, I kid you not, the funniest thing to just watch everyone's faces just flick. So, going from there, that group that this girl is now with, she's hanging out with them. One of her friends comes over and they start singing happy birthday to someone over on FaceTime. And as they do this, a guy from the other fire comes running to our fire. And it's like, whose birthday is it? Whose birthday is it? And she's like, oh, it's one of our friend's sisters that we were talking to on FaceTime. And he's like, oh, well, I was going to offer them a drink. By the way, I have a whole setup over here, if anyone wants a drink, just let me know. So me and my friends, we were like, fuck it, let's see what's going on over there. We walk over there. This dude literally has the setup. I mean, he has every sort of thing you could think about mixing. He's got orange juice, cranberry juice, sodas. Like he had a lot for these mixers. And then he had alcohol both in normal alcohol bottles and also in like water bottles. I don't know why. But he had labels on the bottles to tell him which one was what. And he was in a full suit too, just without the jacket. He had a vest on, red tie, looked pretty clean cut, but he was clearly drunk too. And, he makes us a drink, calls it cherry vanilla, and it's vanilla rum and Big Red. And I had like 4 of those because my friends didn't want theirs, and then I asked for another one and stuff like that. So I'm feeling it. I'm feeling good, right? Night's going pretty well. At some point, this dude comes along. He's being kind of creepy. There's a bunch of these girls in bunny suits all around this other fire pit that we're now chilling at. And some of them are sitting around me and like literally shoulder to shoulder because they're trying to stay warm too. And I'm trying to stay warm because I'm wearing a sleeveless shirt out here in this cold weather. And this dude starts creeping on some of these girls in these bunnies outfits. And I'm just like staring at him like, dude, like you need to kind of back off. You're kind of being creepy. And the way his approach was, I could describe his approach, but just take my word for it. It wasn't very natural. So from there, he kind of takes off and we see him a little bit throughout the night again, but not for a while. We then at some point move over to the other fire because we notice that my friend is now sitting over the fire by himself from our group, but with other people. And we notice one of them is that guy B again. And so we go over there, we're sitting there, we're having a good time, talking with B, talking with some of the random people around the fire, getting to know random people, which you do at a convention, right? As we're doing this, one of B's friends comes over and he tries to scare him, and then he tries to hand him a mixed drink of some sort that was in a can, and he's like, yeah, I don't want this. And me wanting to keep the feel good up, I'm like, I'll drink it. And so I down the whole thing, right? Now we're back at the first fire pit that we were at, and some people are starting to leave. We get told, it's 1 a.m., 30 minutes, they're going to turn off the fire. Some people start to leave, and they start handing out the alcohol that they have with them because they're like, we're not going to drink this back at the room. We're going up for the night, whatever. So they're handing around beers, malt liquors, and stuff like that. My friend takes one of those malt liquors that they get. We all try it, and we all agree it sucks, so he dumps it out. But at some point, another guy sits down, and out of his bag, he pulls out a giant bottle of rum and a 2-liter of Coke. And he's like, yo, anyone want a drink of this? We're like, yeah, sure, fuck it. So my friend goes over there and fills up his little malt liquor bottle that he had and that he dumped out with this rum and Coke. Comes back over, sits down, takes like one sip of it, and is like doesn't do anything. It's a well-sized bottle too. So eventually they come back out. Oh, I'm skipping a little bit. Jesus came out again, sat down with us, talked with us some more. I got his Instagram. So the guy that dresses up like Jesus, I got his Instagram for, gave it to my friend so that he could contact him later. And we're planning on doing another convention with him sometime soon. But they come out and they tell us they're turning off the fire. We're all like, oh, you're cool. It's your job. Like, thanks for giving us the heads up. Fire start going off. So we start making our way inside, and I notice my friend and his sister have randomly picked up this group of 5 people, and they're just talking to them. And so I walk up to the group, and they're starting to try that bottle of rum and Coke. And they're like, what is this? And I don't know, it tastes like rum and Coke. It's kind of bad, though. It's kind of hot, like room temperature. And I'm just like, fuck it, I'll drink it all. And they're like, oh, you will? Oh, dude, that's badass, Get on knee. And I was like, why? They're like, just get on knee and drink it. I was like, fine, fuck it. So I get on one knee and I fucking drink it all. And they're like, holy shit, dude, you fucking did that. Y'all are pretty cool. And we start talking with them and find that there's some connection between my friend and one of the people in the group. And so they're like, yo, man, there's this room down the hall from us that throws a party every night. Y'all want to go to it? Because we got invited to it, and they invite everyone. We're like, yeah, sure, fuck it. So we go up to their floor, go over to this room, and when we walk in, it is probably 20 people packed inside of this bedroom that was meant for like 4 people. There's 2 beds in here. There's not even a couch in this one. In the one that we got, we had a couch. So it's a really compact room, and there's a bunch of people. There's a dude dressed up like Colonel Sanders. There's a dude that's dressed up like half a werewolf. Everyone's in cosplay and just looking, like they would from the convention. And some people are like, it's really crowded. We're going to start leaving. So the people that we came with ended up leaving at some point. So I'm going to skip through a little bit because we end up going back down to the main area inside the building, right inside next to those fire pits. Because the fire pits, of course, are outside. And there's a bunch of people still chilling down there. Once we get down there, we don't know what to do. We were hoping we'd find someone that would tell us about another room party or something like that. So then we go back up to the stairs to this room party. We chill in there for a few more minutes and realize it's just not our scene. And I mean, when I say not our scene, there were 2 guys staring at the TV while rave music played, and they waited for the beat to drop, and they just start jumping because they were fucking gone. So we then make our way out of that room back downstairs. And this is kind of where things start to sort of pick up. It's a little after 2 a.m. at this point, and we decide that, we're going to prop down. We found B again. B just kept popping up through the night and somehow kept finding us, and he started vibing with us, so he just ended up chilling with us. Me and my friend's sister ended up sitting down, and we ended up sitting down with the guy that was kind of being a creep earlier. And he's, munching on a fucking steak that he got from this restaurant that's in the resort that sells steaks and stuff. And that was its own fucking whole thing. But my friend says, yo, I'm feeling tired. I'm going to go upstairs for the night. I was like, here, take my lightsabers, because I've still been holding on to my staff lightsabers the whole fucking time. And then his sister goes, what are we going to do about the alcohol we have in the room? And he's like, oh, yeah. And she's like, just bring it down here. So he goes back up there, brings it back down. I'm still, drunk. I'm still here, still clear, and still able to think correctly, but I'm clearly drunk and still fuzzy. he comes back down with them, and I'm like, yo, none of us like the fucking daiquiri. I'm just gonna go give it away. And he's like, sure, fuck it. And he's like, yeah, I'm gonna head up to the room now. So I walk over to this giant group of probably 25, 30 people that are all just chilling, vibing and everything. And I just go, hey, yo, I got this daiquiri right here. I don't want it. It's all yours. And I just hand it like to the nearest guy that's near me. He goes, what'd you do to it? And I'm like, I didn't do a damn thing to it, man. Now fucking take it. It's free alcohol. He's like, all right. And fucking takes it from me. Cool. Whatever. This guy has the daiquiri now. It's all good. I go back down, sit down, and I'm chatting with them. And then I look at my friend's sister, and I'm like, I gotta go to the restroom. Are you good? Because this other guy that's sitting across from us was a creepy dude for a little while. But we started vibing with him when we got to start actually talking to him. She's like, yeah, I'm good. So I walk over to the restroom. It's not even been 5 minutes since I passed this daiquiri to these people, and I noticed the fucking whole jug is gone. So they fucking just drank that shit real quick. Come back, sit down, start talking with the dude, and we figure out the creepy dude is a panelist for the convention. Like, he's been on panels with them in multiple other conventions multiple times, and this, that, and the other, and like starts telling us a bunch of stories and whatnot. And we start just talking to him about our experience. And we end up bringing up the guy that ran up to my friend with the fucking, like, telling him that his lightsaber scythe can't come in because of the metal and everything. He's like, well, if you see him again and you see me, pull me over there and I'll take care of things. I got some power. I got some sway. Don't worry about it. And we're like, yeah, sure you do. Cool. Yeah, we see you're a panelist, but not every panelist has full power like that, right? So we continue to chill over there, and at some point he's like, I'll be back. He doesn't tell us. I don't catch that because I'm so gone because I started sipping on this margarita now, and so I've been adding to my drunk. And he comes back probably 10 minutes later, and I had picked up his bag and kind of taken a look to look for an ID and didn't see anything, so I set it back down. I was like, yo, man, is that your bag? Because like we were going to go turn it in, and he's like, yeah, you can just leave it there. And he introduces us to this guy, and he's like, tell this guy, about that staff member that was giving you issues before. And the guy's like, yeah, I just like hearing those stories. What can I do? And as he says this, he flashes us his badge, and it says staff on it. And so this dude literally went and grabbed us a staff member in order for us to vent about how shitty this other dude was. So we're like, cool. We vent. We tell this dude. He's like, yeah, we got complaints about him. But, like, he's probably not going to work with us again. Cool. The guy takes off. We continue our little conversation. At some point, we realize it's like 3, almost 4 a.m. at this point. And I've now finished off the, like, last 3/4 of this, like, half gallon of margarita by myself. And so the dude across from us is like, yeah, man, I'm probably going to turn in for the night. Checkouts tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. And he takes off. And soon after, me and my friend's sister kind of look at each other like, yeah, checkout is tomorrow. We probably should go upstairs. So we go up there. And on our way back, she finds an ID on the ground. So she takes it. And we're going to, in the morning, figure out what's going on with that. We get back into the room. I set my phone on the charger, set my wallet down, and I black out. And this is the first time that I've ever blacked out drinking. I've never not known what was going on. And according to my friends, what I did immediately after doing that was right behind me was my friend that went up and went to bed earlier in the night. I turned around and immediately just jumped on him and started laughing my ass off. And then when I got up off of him and off the bed, like, I was immediately like, where's my phone? Where's my wallet? Which was the last thing that I just set down. I was like, I think I lost my phone and my wallet. But they're sitting there right in front of me. Eventually, I realized this. And I'm like, okay, I think I need to lay down. And I go and lay down in the bed. At some point, I got up to go to the restroom. And when I did, I woke up in the restroom. And that's when I came back to. I was there again. And I was like, oh, man. What a fucking time. And I'm just sitting there, doing my thing. I finish up, and as I do that, I'm like, oh, I don't feel so good. I lean over the bathtub and just start throwing up nonstop. I'll keep it at that. It happened multiple times, but my friend that I jumped on comes over to the fucking door, knocks on the door, and it is like, get out of the bathroom, I need to take a shit. And I'm over here leaned over the bathtub, like, dude, I'm throwing blood. And it was the funniest experience to me just because it was like I'd never gotten to that point where something like that would happen. So I open up the door. He goes inside. He's like, oh, what are you doing here? I was like, I was throwing up, man. What do you think? And I'm laying there on the, like, I crawled out of the bathroom, like on my hands and knees out of the bathroom. And I laid down on the floor outside the bathroom. And so I'm laying there. And I look over and I realize, I'm laying right next to the mini fridge that's in the hotel. And we, the night before, bought a gallon of water. So I just pull out the fucking gallon of water, chug it all the way down. Not all of it, but like a good majority of it. Leave it there where I'm laying. And I lay there for a few more minutes and then I get up and I crawl into bed. And I wake up the next morning with a fucking hangover. The first hangover I've had in my adult life. And a fucking wild story to tell for ages. And that was my most recent con experience. Now, I don't plan to get that drunk every single con, and nor do I plan to get that drunk ever again. But let's just say things happen at cons that are really crazy, because I left out quite a few details there, such as me and a couple other people in a group on one of these fire pits when everyone was finally like really drunk, being offered things like a fucking orgy. It got really wild, and there were a lot of things I had to say no to in order to make sure that I and my friends stayed safe. But let's just say, here's to having more stories. So next time that I probably tell a story, I'll probably be telling the anime Matsuri story, 2022. Because that story in its own right was something funny and something that we'll have to maybe get a permission from a few people to make sure I can tell that story. Because, oh man, it involves other people doing stupid shit. But anyways, guys, I appreciate y'all for listening to this, long story. Especially for the first one back. And I hope you guys tune in for the next couple. It's going to be a wild ride. I'll see you guys next time.